And Anton saying, do you guys feel Williams or McKissick will get the seat when B-Rob comes back?
We're about to go talk about that, actually. Good segue there, Anton.
Let's get it. Yo, so it is the first quarter of the season. Unfortunately, we are 1-3, so we're gonna dive into a couple of things. Our overall thoughts on the teams, our depth issues. Definitely also want to get into our injuries because that's I got you.
Okay.
I noticed I didn't put it in here, but I was Will, let's go ahead and lead with that. We know on one of the plays that you talked about, one of our best guys and what we thought potential rookie of the year candidate. I mean, 4 touchdowns in 4 games. Come on now. He looked like he pulled up when he got held.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a theme here, ladies and gentlemen? Anyways, he looked like he pulled up, came off the field. My guy, De'Ami Brown, got in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Jahan Dotson is said he's out for 2 weeks, I believe.
2 weeks, yeah.
With a hamstring issue. Also, we have Sam Cosmi, who also is dealing with injury issues. And we'll talk about the flip side who might potentially be coming back. But Will, talk to us about some of these injuries, man.
Yeah. So 2 guys that left the Dallas game or got hurt in the Dallas game, and they're going to be out for a little bit of time. So Jahan Dotson, just like you said, when he made his cut, he got held. His hamstring felt a tug. So he's out for 2 games, mostly because of the fact that we've got the Sunday game and then we play Thursday against Chicago. So just going to be too quick of a turnaround for that. So he's out 2 games. That's going to be a huge loss because he has been a really consistent weapon. And then the other thing is, what's that recovery going to be like?
Yeah.
Is he going to continue to be at full speed, or is that going to affect him? Because, man, he has had a fantastic start to his career. And now it comes to, who's going to step up? Is Cam Sims or De'Ami, are they going to get more playing time? Is this something that McKissick is going to become a part of? So right. Curtis Samuel's no longer going to be able to do maybe some of all that that backfield stuff, some of the handoffs and jet sweeps and quick throws that are only 2-yard throws down the line of scrimmage and let him run it. Is that going to be something that McKissick can do? So we're going to kind of see some wrinkles here. Let's see. But it's a huge loss to our wide receiver core. Because everyone's targeting and blanketing Terry, really Jahan has been quite a weapon for us. The other one, and there's some positives with this, unfortunately, I say this, is Sam Cosmi is out for, I think they put him on the PUP. He might be out for 4 games. Ooh. He had some surgery on his hand, I think it might have been. I can't remember. He definitely was dinged up. He was dinged up going into the game, and he had some injuries afterwards. So he's out for a while. But Cornelius Lucas is going to be coming in, this may be one of the good things we did this offseason is we re-signed Cornelius Lucas. Yep. And he's played a lot. Sam Cosmi has gotten hurt a lot in his career. He only played in 9 games last year. And now he's out for another 4 games because they put him on the PUP list. I'm pretty sure they put him on the PUP list. So Lucas is going to come in. However, last year, Lucas played in 7 games, committed 1 penalty.
I like that.
The year before, he had to play left tackle for a while, and he committed 1 penalty that year. Mm-hmm. So there may be a little bit more discipline going on there with Lucas. I don't necessarily think he's as good as Cosmi is, but he's also a veteran, so he's got a little more craft there. So we've got 2 injuries that came from Dallas that are going to be kind of big. Do you want to talk about the guy who's the big guy who's coming back here, who just got activated?
Oh, you absolutely know that. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that do and those of you that don't know, our running back 3rd round pick, Brian Robinson, looks like he has been cleared and he's able to play this week. Now, we don't know if he will. This is already so much more than we ever expected. And if you don't know the story, he was in Southeast DC. Apparently, 2 teenagers tried to carjack him. There was a tussle for the gun, and he was shot a couple times in, his legs and his lower parts of his body. Okay, this was before the season. This is week 5, ladies and gentlemen. My man is back. Like, I don't want to say 50 Cent, you know what I mean? But to get shot all those times and you're back to playing NFL ball, this is amazing. And it goes to the question that Anton that asked. Who's going to suffer on carries? I think we kind of both can maybe agree Jonathan Williams will suffer a little bit. If it's between him and McKissick, and the only reason I'm saying that is McKissick is very big in the screen game and kind of doing that like Debo role where he's coming into the backfield and come, do flares out of the backfield or a little, reverse or whatever, what have you. So I'm loving that B Rob's going to be back, and it's interesting to see how the whole running back room will look. But let's pump our brakes. This is we still don't know if this is DB Rob that we got out of Alabama first coming back. The man was shot. Okay, that's not something that I mean, I've never been shot, so I don't know, but I don't think that's something that you just easily are able to get back from. Now, I'm sure he's probably been training and doing some things once he's been, kind of back in the room and back on the field, kind of in-house. But we're talking about game speed. We're talking about going up against other teams that don't necessarily care as much about you. You know what I mean? Like, they'll respect the fact that you're injured, but it's still competitive little, we got to win this game type deal. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward if he gets a full, full run, a full set of carries, this whole thing, or if he's on a pitch count where, hey, we'll give you 4 or 5 plays, see how you look, and, kind of get it that way. Because you, regardless if you're shot or you have a hammy or you just are out for those first couple weeks, there's wear and tear that might not be there, but then there's also, you got to get back up to game speed. You have to get back up and be ready to take hits, be ready to be running 5 to 10 times a game and get ready. We talk about Saquon. We talk about Christian McCaffrey. Both these guys have dealt with hammies and things like that to where they come back and they're on pitch counts. You know what I mean? Where they're only getting a certain amount of play, a certain amount of carries in the game. So we don't want to overexert them and then potentially re-injure them. So I'm excited about that. But Will, there's another guy that just came off. Didn't Larson just come off the?
We did, yeah. So we got 2 guys that got removed from the PUP list. So so there's 2 distinctions here. Brian Robinson and Tyler Larson got removed from the PUP list. Brian Robinson got activated today, meaning, when you get removed, you've got 21 days to figure out, are you able to play and be a part of the 53? Or do you need to be put on injured reserve for the rest of the season? And Robinson got activated, which means there is a chance he could play Sunday. I think you said it perfectly. We got to pump the brakes. But I don't think Jonathan Williams even needs to dress at this point. Like, why do we need 4 out there? Unless you really need to ease Robinson in. But I'm excited to see what he's got. But Tyler Larson is now another guy that may be coming to some reinforcements and help is on the way. So Larson was our backup center last year. Chase Roulier got hurt. He came in. He played fairly well. He kind of kept things going. He tore his Achilles towards the end of the season. I think it was actually in the home Dallas game is when he tore his Achilles. So he's been rehabbing from that. So he has been removed from the PUP list. He hasn't been activated. So he is not going to be ready to play on Sunday. We'll still be going with Nick Martin, but this guy may come in and take over as our starting center once he's ready to go. And that may bring, he could be an upgrade over what we got, which, as we've said, we could use all the help in the world on offensive line. So any help will be good. The other thing related to center is we found out, unfortunately, that Chase Roulier will be out for the entire season. He wanted to get a second opinion. He went to have it, and they said, you need to have surgery. So our starting center, who was playing really well for the second year, we lose him for, now this is going to be even longer in the season than last year. We lost him on Halloween Day. So we lost him for half the season. We basically lost him for the entire season this time. We just got to hope between Nick Martin and Tyler Larson, who are natural centers, that they are able to pick things up and improve us, because our offensive line needs the help.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. And look, that was it for injuries, right?
Yeah.
That was it for injuries. And look, let's stay right along those offensive line. Look, Norwell and Turner, I don't know if you guys saw, ladies and gentlemen, but starting in the second quarter, Sadiq Charles came in for Trey Turner. Trey Turner had a holding penalty and did not look good. Gallimore was blowing him up early and often, getting a sack. And also, I mean, one play he picked up about near swallowed McKissick. He just picked him up like he's a little kid and was dragging him back. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Turner does not look up to par. Neither Norwell has been struggling as well. And it shows. We had that switch, and then you talk about Schweitzer's backup center. Nick Martin came in there and started at center at certain plays. Will, our line, man, look, like last year we touted it. We said, you know, we had 8-9 guys that got into rotation, and our O-line coach was great. What's going on, man?
Yeah, this is so frustrating, you know. And this, I mean, they did say Matsko was, you know, really making some, you know, genius work out there with what he was able to work with. It's just so frustrating when we look at our roster. The fact that last year we had 2 solid guards. Now you make a trade for Carson Wentz, so there's no way you can afford to keep Brandon Sheriff. You know, whether he even wanted to stay here, you knew he was going to have to go. But then we got rid of Eric Flowers. So now we had to re-sign 2 new starting guards, and we went on the cheap. We went out there and got Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner. Trey Turner was a Pro Bowl player with the Panthers. He was. He got cut by Pittsburgh, or he was not re-signed by Pittsburgh this past year. And Pittsburgh does not have a good offensive line.
Right. Yeah.
So that's who we're signing to be our starter? Like, come on. Now, I do think the idea was more for Wes Schweitzer to be the starting right guard, but then when Roulier got hurt, Schweitzer had to go over. So now you're questioning, so who was our backup center? Your starting right guard was your backup center?
Right.
Like, what are we doing with this roster construction? You know, we're spending pennies on such an important position, especially when you have a quarterback who is not mobile the way he used to be. He needs time to throw the ball, to utilize his big arm, to utilize these longer developing routes that these receivers can take advantage of. And yet we went on the cheap. So it's real frustrating. I do hope that Nick Martin can turn into something. He was a former starting center for the Texans for about 4 seasons. So I think he's better than what we had. It's just also frustrating to me. Like, what you get this guy off the street who's better than what you had in house, like including some of the guys you had on your practice squad. Like, what type of roster decisions is Ron and the Martys doing here? This is piss poor.
Yeah, man. They're looking at it and just get that guy, get this guy.
Look, for pennies. What can we do to save money?
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. You wonder if that's all the way up to the top, or you know what that is. But at least we know Nick Martin has good pedigree. For those of you that don't know, he is the brother of Zach Martin on the Cowboys. So we know how good Zach Martin is when healthy, because he even got rolled up on this game. But he is the brother. So hopefully, that will help us out. If I'm not mistaken, on his first play in, I think he got a holding penalty. So
yeah, it was pretty early on. Yeah.
It was. So it was definitely rough. But that is one of those areas that we've seen. A lot of it, we were going back and forth a week ago about Carson Wentz. He's holding the ball too long. Well, you shared something with us in one of the group chats that we were in, where he's getting the ball out quickly because he doesn't have time. He has 2 seconds to throw the ball, if that. You know what I mean? That nobody could be successful like that. So then it makes you understand why we're doing a lot of these short, quick passes, a lot of this quick tempo stuff, to make sure that we're giving him at least a little bit of time. Because another issue that I've had is, why are we in the shotgun every other play? You know what I mean? It's 3rd and inches and we're in the flipping shotgun. Like we're giving 5 yards up just to get come on.
But we need those 5 yards.
Right. We need that time. And it is absolutely frustrating, Will. But there's another part that is also very frustrating, and it goes right along the same lines of paying pennies to bring guys out and call them our starters. Wild Goose and Castro Fields. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know Wild Goose before last week, you knew him after the game because he had 2 PIs in that game that really messed with us. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I've looked and looked and looked. I haven't seen Castro Fields. I mean, I've seen him, but I haven't it's kind of like, really? I mean, if you needed me, I could have played. I could pass a physical play if you're just pulling random cats out of like you're talking about. Like my dad says, oh, you just picked him up from 7-Eleven. He was hanging out at 7-Eleven. He said, all right, you want to play football? Here, we'll give you a jersey. Like, that's what's going on here. Explain this to me, because if this is what we're bringing in, bring back Troy Apke. All right, at least I know how much he was gonna get burnt by. Like, this is killing me, Will. Come on.
Yeah, I can't explain it, but I can tell you what they've done because the explanation or the philosophy makes no sense to me.
No.
It's the same thing. Like on defense with our secondary, after our cutting down to the 53, we go out and sign guys that were cut by two other teams. Castro Fields has been inactive. So like, that's okay. That's kind of one of those, just like Christian Holmes, you draft and stash him. But Wild Goose has to go out there and play. He's elevated over Danny Johnson. So what the F are we doing with our depth analysis by our front offense where we have to go sign guys who've been cut and they're already ahead of guys we already have in-house? That's just really, really pathetic roster construction. And Ron is the CEO of the football side of things. So he's a part of all this. And that is poor because when we've had to rely on them and had them to get out there and play, they're terrible.
They are. They're rough. They're absolutely rough. And this is just, it's just something you want. Hey, look, we know how your boy that you love, JMU Jimmy, we know how his college team is doing. We might need to bring him back. Just place a call to him, Will.
He's a free agent.
We need him. You know, and I know there's a guy around your area, DJ Swearinger. Hit him up. I know we could use him as well.
I so love it. I almost bought a Swearinger jersey last week.
Yes.
I almost got it. If Swearinger Redskins. Apparently he signed it. Oh, I was so tempted.
Wait. You mean you almost were gifted it because you would never buy anything. No.
I don't spend our cash on old Redskins stuff. No,
you don't have a new Redskins gear on right now. No.
Got it last year.
And this look, same thing. Landon Collins sitting back just laughing at us. At the end of the day, when you look at Wild Goose and Castro Fields, you said Castro Fields is not there, but inactive. But Wild Goose has showed how awful he has been playing, and thankfully I didn't call his name, but maybe it was garbage last game. Like it is really
bad roster construction.
It's stressful. Why would you? It just doesn't make sense. Because even at the time, like you said, when it came to the final 53, we were like, okay, well, they signed them after just to have people to sign on there. But we didn't think that this was going to be the guy staying with us going forward. So this, I'm trying to figure it out, Will. I'm trying to figure it out. But and we're gonna quickly move on to this part because D-line, but also undrafted free agents and newcomers. We could use some undrafted free agents or newcomers, anything like that for the corner position as well. So. But for the D-line especially, what can we do to help us? Because 3 of these guys are legit, but then once they come out,
it's just continue this. Like we're like, and Ab says it right when he looks at we're cheap.
Yep.
Here we are. We've got all these first-round picks on for the defensive line, and all of their backups are 7th-round picks and undrafted free agents. There's no middle ground. Like what the are we doing here? And so guess what? People get injured. Our 2nd-round pick gets hurt and he's out. And now you're bringing in these street free agents to come in and play immediately, against definitely against Philly. We had a guy play for the first time. We signed in the free agency. The week before we signed a street free agent and he suited up.
Yep.
It's like, why are we going after all these undrafted free agent guys that other teams have casted off? Why do we not have any type of veterans in there of any sorts? Like, I know Ryan Kerrigan he retired because his time was up, but where are the players like that? Tell me why we don't have Star Latulele on this team. He played in Carolina. Why is he not a part of this team? I'm sure he knows a little bit about how to play the game. And instead, we're trotting out these guys that are undrafted free agents to play rotational pieces. Like we're being cheap with our backups. It's almost as if like we think we're playing the game. Like when I played Madden, I turned off injuries, so my starters played the whole time. Because I thought it was bull when they got hurt. It's like, you think you're going to go through the entire season like this? And you're getting undrafted guys and 7th-round picks to be core backups. It's just It's absolute garbage the way this team has been made up. And we've seen in the first part of the season, now that they've had to play, we're just getting exploited because of them.
And look, you make a great point. I get, everybody wants to get newer. Everybody wants to get the fresh talent, get a college guy, get a guy that's in his early 20s. He's on the right side of 30, if you will. He's under 30. And I get all that. But there's something to say about having that veteran presence in the locker room. I want to look at Nathan right here. Look at Baltimore. They re-signed Calais Campbell. Yes, he's definitely on the wrong side of 30. But he's been a part of teams that have been contenders. He's been a part of teams where he can also be a locker room leader that makes such a difference. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in that locker room that we don't see until it spills out. But in the best teams, the reason why you don't see it is because they squelch that stuff. I'm sticking with the Ravens. When you had an Ed Reed and a Ray Lewis in the locker room, they handled the stuff in-house. Kerrigan, for us, you go back in the old school days, the Monty Colemans and the Darryl Greens and the Art Monks, these guys handled things in-house. Sometimes I get you might lose a little bit of the speed, a little bit, maybe, the talent from the older guy, but what you gain in experience, what you gain in bringing these guys in and kind of helping everybody to kind of understand how things are going to go. Because look, we know you could have the Chase Young and matter of fact, Micah Parsons, prime example to the interview the thing that Aaron Andrews did, and where he talked about Dan Quinn and talked about the thoughts and the goals that I had for my career and where he wanted it to go. He completely changed it, but he was so good. What makes him great is that he was receptive to hearing that. Not all the super talented young guys want to hear it, especially when they've been the best in high school, the best in college, and coming in getting highly drafted in the pros. They don't want to hear that. They think I'm just that guy. Even back to Chase Young, where there was a lot of plays where he went off and do his own thing, and he would be creating a hole for the defense that we're getting gashed. So there's something to say for getting in some of these older guys. Shout out to the late, great George Allen, who traded away every draft pick he ever had. And he is the over the hill gang, went in there and played in Super Bowl 7, lost, unfortunately. But I mean, the talent they had on there, the Hall of Famers, there was just something for the experience, something for guys that have been there. Hey, we need to make some of these decisions to get that. But it goes back to roster construction, absolutely, like you've been talking about. Wait a second. What do you say real quick? This looks like Madden franchise and his CPU is signing free agency. Well, yeah.
Putting guys in there just to fill the roster spot.
Just whoever. But like you alluded to, and like we started with injuries. I mean, we've said this since last year. We're a couple players away from seriously having major issues. And to be honest, it's kind of happened now with our secondary, and then obviously trying to fill in for Chase Young. But what if my guy Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis go down? Where do we go from here? Is it Eifler? Is it Mayo? Like, come on now.
Right. John Bostic.
Right.
That's another position where like we've gone so cheap where you only want to rely on two linebackers, but then the guys behind them are terrible. It's like we just have to hope they don't get hurt essentially, because the depth behind there, it's just a continuing theme of, Ron, this is your team that you're in year 3. You said they're going to make a step up. You have weapons, but the depth behind drops so much that you can't overcome these injuries. And it's just roster malpractice, in my opinion, like on what they're doing. And it just doesn't make sense how they've just gone so cheap on this stuff and they're getting exposed.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, and you guys know, I've shouted out Cole Holcomb, North Carolina all day. But look, both of these guys are mediocre at best. Like, they have got good heart. Maybe, they're hustle. They're hustle players.
Moral
but they're
support.
not. Yeah, moral support. Right, 100%. These guys are the moral support of the team. But at the end of the day, if we put on these stud players, they're going to get torched. You saw it. CeeDee Lamb ran all the way past Jamin Davis multiple times. One of the first times out of the backfield, their first down of the game, Zeke is blocking, and nobody's coming open. He kind of just leaks out of the backfield. Holcomb is there. Zeke catches it and then burns Holcomb down the sidelines. These are the type of things where Holcomb and Davis they're great. Yes, I like them. Yeah, man, I'm glad you got a jersey. But no, you ain't not supposed to be my starters. No, you fill in when needed. That's what it is. So it goes to your point of A, being cheap, B, kind of settling for, I guess this is what we have, and C, not being proactive, not going out there. We talked all off season like they've got to make a move. I understand you don't want to pick the same linebacker like you did a year ago in the draft, fine, but you still have to make a move. Ron, you told us that free agency doesn't start till after the draft. Well, who did you get? These corners? Because you didn't get linebackers outside of Mayo and Bostic. And obviously, I looked at Bostic on the sideline. He's looking up at the camera and that, what's going on. So something's got to change, So, yeah.
I hear you. It's scary.
It is. Ladies and gentlemen, we are definitely getting close to the end of the show. We're going to take a quick breather, and then we're going to preview this game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see where we stand with this game. So we'll be right back. Actually, guys, I love North Carolina. We're going to give you a quick little dance break. Tar Heel Nation, awesome. Baby.
That's pretty awesome.
Love it. Wanted to go back real quick and check this. Anton, Mr. Morris Report himself said, where is the mentality of I want to be the best in that locker room? Will, yeah. I don't know. Talk to him. Like, what do you think?
I don't know. Yeah.
Because it's not, you're right. And we thought by bringing Kerrigan in, Jeff Zanina, bringing him in there, Warren Sapp was kind of hanging out with us prior to the season. That's kind of the thing we thought. But, sometimes you have to have a guy in-house. We thought it was Jonathan Allen for us. And he's a leader, but, we don't know if that's what it is. And maybe there is that leadership in the locker room, and just with the pieces that we have, it's just not working out. We just need to get better pieces. Maybe that's it right there. So we shall see. You know what it is. Tar Heels.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.